What's up, dudes? My name is Nick. Welcome back for another K-pop news video. I do apologize for the absence over the last 6 or 7 days or so, but you know, things happen, things get in the way. But despite the fact that there were roadblocks in my life, there were no roadblocks in the lives of the members of BTS because they managed to increase their standing on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. So you already know probably that they have found themselves on the most recent updated version of the chart at number 67. If I'm remembering correctly off the top of my head, they debuted at 87, so they moved up 20 spots, which is immense. That's really, really good. And what makes it even bigger is the fact that they are the first K-pop group to even get that number. Well, yes, the first K-pop group, the highest group to chart on the specific chart. You know, this is like the top 100 songs in the world, according to Billboard. The highest number for that, or the highest rating group and song, was the song was it Nobody from Wonder Girls, that came in at number 76, way back in ancient history when TV and stuff was probably still in black and white. I wasn't old enough to remember that. That's a joke, by the way. But way back in 2009 is when Wonder Girls topped out. They had the highest position on the Hot 100 chart, coming in at number 76. So BTS did them like one better, or 10, not literally like 9, but basically they improved on that by 10, which is a big time huge. Like the question that I you know left with when I finished my video the previous week, or my previous news video about BTS on this chart, was like the question that I really had and I was really interested to see was if they were going to move up in the chart or move backwards. So it's really good to see that they moved up. I'm not exactly confident that it's like super because it's finding traction within in the United States or elsewhere in the world. Although I did hear that there's someone on with the BBC One radio or something like that that did play it twice on like, you know, radio for like the entire world, not world, but you know, at least the country in England. So that's pretty big. Maybe they are actually getting traction like that, and they are appearing on, you know, terrestrial radio stations, FM radio stations and stuff like that, to get a little bit more play and more exposure. Or maybe it's just because armies are crazy and super supportive of their group, and they're just streaming and doing what they do because K-pop fans are super organized and dedicated to just do everything that they can to spread their favorite group in every single possible way that they can. And I appreciate that. It's crazy, and you know, sometimes they're a little overzealous in what they and how they, you know, promote and defend their groups. But I definitely do admire the passion, because I personally don't really have that kind of passion. So definitely, you know, you're doing God's work, I suppose, when it comes to promoting K-pop, and I suppose everyone appreciates it deep down, probably, even though people might be like, stop being so annoying. Deep down, they're like, you're making K-pop a little bit more acceptable for me to play in my car with the windows rolled down and stuff like that. Super off topic, but BTS killing it on the charts. So that achievement in and of itself for BTS is awesome, considering that, you know, last week was their first appearance on that chart. They improved upon it the second week. And what's even more, and which is something that K-pop fans and stuff are going to like actually, or should actually see as significant, is the fact that they actually put up a better number than Wonder Girls did. Like, yeah, that's pretty big. That's a pretty big, well-known group. Like granted, maybe they're not as big and as popular as they could have been, because the direction that they took as far as their business was wrong. They made a mistake in that regard. But like, you know, at their height, that group was massively popular. And, you know, of course, I think, at least in my mind, they're considered, you know, a legendary K-pop group of, you know, that time. And it's another piece of evidence that you could file away in the ever-growing folder of reasons why BTS is going to be one of the legendary K-pop groups of their era. I mean, if they aren't already considered that, like, you already know what groups are going to be the groups that define an era of K-pop. I think BTS is going to be the one that ends up, being the one that people remember and go back to and reference 10 years from now when they're writing news articles on the achievements of groups that are achieving great things 10 years from now. They'll go back and like, BTS did this, right? But this new group from, this new group a decade from now is doing this, and let's see how they kind of compare, right? I think that that's actually something that is very much, very, 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 very much on the cards. If you don't know, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are like, BTS are legends, excuse me, because fans, they're very, very passionate and they think that their group is the best, which is awesome. I love it, except for when I don't. But but it's great. I mean, it's honestly an exciting time. Like, I'm not really I like BTS. I'm not like the most. I'm not an ARMY. I don't identify as that. So I'm not. My enjoyment and my passion level for BTS is not like off the charts. But I'm excited. I'm not excited because BTS itself is achieving all these things, but I'm excited because potentially, maybe accidentally, all of this attention is going to spill over a little bit to some other K-pop groups or something like that. I don't specifically know. It's all really, really exciting stuff. So, of course, that leaves me similar to where I was at last week with my news video, wondering what's going to happen next. Like, are they going to, is their position on the chart going to slide downwards, or are they going to continue to improve on that? Who knows? Anything could happen. But I'm super pumped and excited to kind of see what happens with that. And I'm going to finish this off with something that I found really, really interesting and humorous, funny about the coverage of this event that came from Billboard itself. From I don't remember who the guy was that wrote the article that was like, BTS achieves this thing, it's great, it's amazing, it's wow, oh my god, they're so good, right? And the way that they had framed it which is the way that I've framed it in my title and the way that I've kind of talked about this, is that BTS is the highest charting group or K-pop group on the Billboard Hot 100. And I'm like, I mean, technically you're right that BTS is the K-pop group that has held the highest position on that chart, but like, you're completely ignoring the fact that even with the music that Psy's released recently, he's finding his way on the chart, ignoring the fact that that Gangnam Style was at number 2. Right? You're ignoring all of the like massive, ridiculous success on this specific chart that BTS is killing it on right now, that Psy has had. And I don't know, I just find it interesting because of course they kind of quantify it as BTS being a K-pop group. It's not incorrect to do that, but it is like, if they just said it's K-pop act, or a K-pop, yeah, because Psy and BTS are K-pop acts, right? Because that's what they anybody a rock band or anything like that, they're an act. So if they're saying a K-pop act, then you can't say that BTS is having massive success and that it's really kind of resonating with people, because, well, to be able to say that, then you have to, or to kind of say it in the way that they did in this article for this instance, you kind of have to, well, they have to be number 1. And I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon, but hopefully it does, I guess. It's just kind of an interesting way interesting thing to look at and see kind of how they spin this a little bit to, potentially make it seem like it's a bigger deal than it actually is. But, or not to make it seem like it's a bigger deal than it actually is, that's poor phrasing, but to make it seem bigger, just to kind of like hype it up as much as they possibly could. Because if you're like, well, yeah, but Psy just was like 50 trillion positions above them, then that kind of is a way to downplay it. So they didn't give you that opportunity. They didn't give you that information to, that you can look at that. You're like, well, yeah, that's pretty impressive that BTS did that, but they're not on Psy's level, So it's kind of like a thing when you do news, and then like you can put in the facts right there like they did in this article, but the stuff that you leave out kind of shapes the tone and the way that people are going to interpret it, which is kind of interesting. But I guess that opens up a really good question that I think I'll talk about in an upcoming Sunday discussion video, which is like, what is the target audience for articles like that like Billboard and Rolling Stone and whoever put out when they talk about K-pop? Because I think that K-pop fans would be able to notice that, yeah, Psy was killing it. BTS also doing really, really well, with the idea that they're beating Wonder Girls, so to speak. So K-pop fans know because they have the history and that background knowledge on like what's going on, but maybe because this article was not targeted, intended for K-pop fans specifically to read, but it was focused at people who don't know K-pop, that they wrote it in the way that they did, omitted the fact that Psy is a K-pop singer or a K-pop act in order to, kind of guide Western fans or non-K-pop fans into thinking that BTS is super, super hot. They are on fire, and they are definitely worth, paying attention to, which I don't disagree with, but it's an interesting thing. I don't even know. So that's all I got. I think honestly, now that I'm sitting here reflecting on this, on what I just recorded here, I think the first half of this is kind of garbage in all honesty, but I'm super, super late with recording this, so I'm not going to do it again. And for that, I apologize. So if you want to like clarify, if you want to like kick me on the balls and drag me because I said something you didn't appreciate or something like that, that's super fair, I suppose. I open myself up to that by uploading this video on YouTube anyway. No matter what it is that I upload, I'm always open for attack. So if you feel like it, go for it. If you want to talk about this in BTS, then that's also appreciated as well. Just the one thing that this community is founded on is that no matter what it is you think, no matter what it is that you're going to say, you be nice about it. You respect the fact that I think what I think, and you just come and you just want to, have a good, honest to God, nice, friendly discussion. We're not going to be pulling hair. We're not going to be fighting or punching each other. We're just going to talk. We're going to be nice. We're going to be civil. We're just going to, be friendly, be friends, because that's what we want to be here in this community. We want to be friends around the fact that we enjoy K-pop. So if that's a community that you want to become a part of and enjoy, then please do consider clicking on the subscribe button down below. And that is going to be it for this video. So as always, I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.